Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Currituck County Board of Commissioners meeting for Monday, September 20th, 2021. At 5 o'clock, this board had a work session on campgrounds to discuss the new requirements for campgrounds. And at this time, next I'll ask if Commissioner Beaumont would lead us in invocation and Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes.
You were designated.
I give you an answer.
Okay.
Heavenly Father, thank you for this glorious day, Lord, and I thank you for the weather and how we can feel the beginning of the cool down, Lord, and we look forward to less humidity. Father, I do lift up our farmers and ask that you send some rain, Lord, because we certainly haven't seen that in a while. And Father, this evening I pray that you would grant us, Lord, wisdom as we consult and discuss the events facing this county. Lord, I thank you for the abundant gifts that you have bestowed upon Currituck County and the favor that you grant us. Lord, I pray that you would bless this meeting in Jesus' name.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Beaumont. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Do we have any amendments to the agenda this evening?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I would like to add, following the closed session,
Yes.
an additional work session to discuss the FOST subdivision plat approval process and regulated utility connection.
Okay. Do we have any other amendments? Okay. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, the next item we have on the agenda is our public comment. This is a time for the citizens and the public to come before this board to discuss any items that this board or the citizens would like to discuss, or just to let us know what's going on, their opinions, views, good, bad, negative, and we will intently listen. You have 3 minutes to discuss your topic. You will have a green light up there to let you know your time has begun. You'll get a yellow light letting you know you have about 30 seconds left, and then when the red light comes on, I would ask that you be respectful and wrap up your thoughts. We're going to be respectful to you to listen intently, and we just ask that you be respectful for your time. With that, we have some people signed up this evening, and I'm going to start with the first person. Is when you come up here, if you could just state your name and address, please, for the records. I have, is it Diane Hagman?
Chairman, would it be okay if there are several people here together to talk about wild horse stores? And we think maybe the way we've gotten, everybody signed up that's going to speak.
Okay.
Would you mind if we go out of order to kind of make the presentation we think would be a little more efficient for the board's consideration?
I don't mind if we go out of order. So did you want to go first?
No, we've got a lot of, that's okay.
Well, then the first person then who wants to speak, please come up, state your name and address for the record.
Thanks, sir.
That'll be fine.
Good evening. My name is Cindy Midkiff, and I'm a homeowner in Swan Beach for over 20 years, and I now live there full time.
Could you specifically give the address, please, for the record?
My address?
Yes.
1640 Ocean Pearl Road, Corolla, North Carolina, 27927.
Thank you.
And the
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, please get in front of a mic so we can record
Yes.
you there. Thank you.
That better?
Yep.
Okay.
You're good. There you go. You're all good.
Are you ready? Okay, I come today hoping for some compromises that will help the condition of the beaches and fragile sand roads behind the dune lines of the 4x4 beaches of Currituck County. The increase in traffic has been tremendous on the beach with the issuing of 2,000 or more parking passes from 2019 to 2021, and especially behind the dune line where we have the adverse effects from the constant and excessive traffic of the horse tours. It's easily seen in the wearing away of the roads, the creation of deep water holes, some now at the water table, and exposure and severing of electric and internet cable. The type of traffic behind the dune line consists of many heavy trucks, Hummers, loaded down with 10, 12 or more people, some tag-along Jeeps, running the roads 8 to 8 every day of the year. This has created a dangerous situation with the sand roads for the residents, renters, EMS, service workers, along with increased stress and danger to the wild horses. Anyone creating adverse effects on those roads must in very least have limitations to reduce the wear and tear and give the roads time to recover and the homeowners time to repair them. The horse tour traffic is speeding up the erosion of our roads at a rate that nature does not have enough time to repair. We must maintain a passable way behind the dune line to get behind Laughing Gull at the 16-mile marker in the case of higher than normal tides. We're able to do this if traffic on the roads behind the dunes is decreased. Conducting tours 12 hours a day and using the same roads every day has created a nuisance and is extremely unfair to the residents and the neighborhoods of the 4x4 beaches and to those who work to maintain the 4x4 and keep it safe. Except for the horse tours, there's very little traffic behind the dune lines. Many residents will see up to 100 passes or more by the tours in front of their homes each day, which is in stark contrast to the 3 or 4 cars we'd see normally without them. There are 107 tours scheduled every day to go out daily in the summertime. The residents of Swan and North Swan Beach maintain the roads so that we have safe passage in and out of our neighborhoods, so emergency vehicles can have access, service workers from rental companies can get to their homes, renters can get safely to their homes, and so contractors and workers can get to their construction sites safely. We have little problems maintaining the roads, but for the excessive tour traffic through our neighborhoods. We're asking for 4 compromises. First, that the tours of any kind limit their hours from behind the dune line from 10 to 4, and that we not allow any ATV rentals or the like behind the dune line. 2, that the routes change daily. We can do it by mile marker so that it can be enforced. This would give the full rest to the roads and to the stressed horses and residents. 3, when there's flooding behind the dune lines, only essential traffic be allowed back there until repairs can be made or it has time to dry out. And last, the horse tour ordinances be changed and improved to better protect and ensure the safety and the quality of life of the wild horses. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, who was next to speak?
Could I ask her one quick question? How many tours a day did you say were?
107 are scheduled to go out daily in the summertime.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Yes, ma'am, if you could state your name and address for the...
My name is Mildred Fowler. I live at 1640 Ocean Pearl Road in Swan Beach. I'm speaking on behalf of Tom Hurley, who lives at 1648 Sandpiper.
Okay,
Ready?
thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Roads of the
Ma'am, just make sure you're in front of the... Could you get in front of the podium? I'm sorry.
No, my focal length doesn't do that.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's fine then. Just try to stay as close to the mic as you can so
All
it's
right, thank you.
recorded. Thanks.
Roads of the sand are as fragile as they sound. The smaller the aggregate, the greater the displacement, and it doesn't get much smaller than a grain of sand. To understand all the hubbub about the puddles in the road, it's important to know these puddles manifest seemingly overnight into car-devouring road obstructions. These deep holes are often 4 feet deep, cause major route changes for those who need to travel the roads for access to their homes. They inhibit alternative passage around the houses that are blocking the beach at high tides. They obstruct emergency vehicles from getting to the scene of an emergency, and often these holes expose electrical lines damaged by the traffic, and sometimes they have damaged lines so that they've energized the water that the lines are in. This is a safety hazard. I, Tom Hurley, along with others, have spent countless hours mending the damage that occurs when it rains. These puddles that quickly manifest into deep water holes, creating the need for repair often after every single rain. The failure is simple. Add water, apply traffic. The holes deteriorate based on the volume and the method of use. As the vehicles enter even the smallest puddle, the water and sand are displaced, the water flows back, the sand does not. This is the biggest enemy of our roads, and it is the repetition of this action that makes it so bad. The problem is further exacerbated by the speed in which one enters the puddle. Enter slowly, the less the water disperses, the less the sand. Enter quickly, this creates a greater dispersion, the hole gets wider, the hole gets deeper with every pass. The greatest offender in this problem is the high repetition vehicles. Horse tours on average will use the road and travel these puddles exponentially more than that of the tourist, local, and other commercial vehicles combined. This is an area we can get better. The answer for the horse tours is to stay out of standing water in the roads, stay within the confines of the road, and safely change direction to avoid the water. This would benefit the roads greatly. We cannot expect tourists renting homes in the four-wheel drive area not to use these puddles, as often that's the only access to their rental property. Currently, the method for repairing the deep holes is to take sand from a higher area and fill the low areas that are the holes. The hole must be filled to elevation that is greater than the surrounding area. Unfortunately, we are starting to deplete this high-side sand supply. The process of road repair is also held up by the necessity to mark utility lines that are under the sand. Simple resolution ideas. 1. Establish resources for sand. Look at county contracts and see where sand is removed and see if that can't be utilized in the 4x4 areas. Maybe like Route 12 or even the beach access road. Then we could use that. Reduce commercial horse traffic by setting scheduled route and defining conditional use when there is standing water. Also, retrain the drivers for good behavioral practices. Donate funds for the road repair, maybe perhaps through homeowners association. Next, have the roads and associated utilities surveyed and marked with flags. This one, next, bury all exposed lines and future lines in the road 3 foot deep, putting a caution ribbon in the trench a foot above the newly buried line to warn emergency services and equipment operators that they are near a buried line. And last, maybe have the county supply storage property and equipment that can be utilized for such repairs in the 4x4 area. As sand becomes available, it could be stored on this property, and so can the equipment needed for those repairs. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next.
My name is Diane Hageman. My husband and I live at 1686 Midland Road. That is between milepost 16.5, which is Canary, and milepost 17, which is Albatross. We have had property. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, she pulled it over there, yeah. Thank you.
Sorry. We have had property in that area for over 11 years and moved there permanently several years ago. The half-mile stretch of Midland that we live on is comprised of private homes and vacant lots. There are no vacation rentals on that stretch. So consequently, the amount of traffic that we see is between 10 and 15 vehicles a day, excluding the tours. Homeowners, the occasional worker, or the occasional tourist. When we include the tours, that number jumps to over 70. And that includes a tour that goes back and forth or loops around in front of the same home repeatedly. Now, Midland, slightly south of us, is a little narrow, and the tours don't like driving down there. So what they've decided to do is create this big turnaround in front of our home. In order to do that, they have had to go on private property, wear down the dune on the east side of Midland, thereby taking Midland from a road to now this giant bowl, which is in front of our home. And that fills with water in inclement weather and becomes a serious road hazard. Now, I have sent numerous videos showing caravans of tours looping around in front of our house, 3 and 4 at a time. Other people have sent videos showing the tours pull up right next to a horse and get between a mare and her foal, or cut the horses off from their herd. And in each one of those videos, the stress on those animals is clearly visible. Now, I'm really sure that you have not had the opportunity to look at all the videos that have been sent, but I am really hopeful that you will take the time to do so that you can see what we have to deal with on a daily basis. And even when we don't have horses in our yard, we now have a tour that pulls up in front of our house, stops, gives their spiel, and their passengers are now taking pictures of us on our deck and our home. That's an invasion of our privacy. Now, all that being said, I do understand that they have a right to operate a business and make a profit. But conversely, we as homeowners have the right to enjoy our property free of nuisance. So all we are asking is that a balance be struck between the tours operating their business and our right to enjoy the peace and quiet of our home and not have our roads damaged by the heavy volume of tour vehicles. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you. The next speaker?
Hello, everybody. My name is Benita Berdovich, and my home is in Corova, specifically 903 Tuna Road. I'm here this evening to ask that the times allowed to travel behind the dunes in Corova by all horse tours be reduced, especially when the roads have been flooded by continuous rainstorms. As part of the horse tour, many tours often stop at the Corova Park to allow their passengers to use the restrooms. This causes a lot of wear and tear on Ocean Pearl near the firehouse from constant usage. When there are numerous deep holes filled with water, it reduces the reaction time of the fire department and emergency rescue to reach someone in need. On Tuesday, July 20th, a Corova meeting was held at the firehouse. It started pouring during the meeting, and Ocean Pearl Road was in such bad shape that I had to get up and leave the meeting because I was concerned I would not be able to make it home safely. Thank you for listening to my concerns and considering making some changes to the tour times allowed behind the dunes.
Thank you. And the next speaker?
I think I'm probably the last one, Mr.
Okay.
Chairman, again, and we appreciate you letting us
That's
go in
fine.
this order. My name is Nick Ellis. I'm an attorney with Pointer Spruill in Rocky Mount, 1151 Falls Road in Rocky Mount, 27802. I'm here and I'm representing these concerned citizens, and I think you've heard what their concerns are. They have legitimate and very real concerns about the volume of the horse tour traffic. They have legitimate concerns about the damages to the sand roads caused by the tours. They have a legitimate concern about the nuisance that the damage to the roads has created, the infringement on the right to enjoy your property with tours from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Not speaking for the horses, but I think everybody that you have heard from genuinely is concerned about the horses, as I'm sure each of you are. And what we are asking is that this is an issue that's been before this board for a decade. This is not a new problem, but it is a problem that has been exacerbated by the increase in the volume of traffic. So what we are asking is that you appreciate these concerns that have been voiced to you. You have the authority already before you in the ordinances that the county has previously adopted concerning these operations. We have provided Mr. McCree a letter, and I believe that the clerk has made that available to all of you. Some photographs that demonstrate the problems that have been discussed so far, exposed utility lines, very, very significant problems with water-filled holes. Interestingly, some of the information we also received, and again, just talking about the history, this is back from March 5 of 2009, a wild horse tour meeting that noted 4 benefits from the tours, 8 detriments, including trespassing on private property, still occurs. Speeding on the beach and on smaller back roads, still occurs. Increased traffic near residential property, still a concern. Non-compliance with the ordinances, still a concern. Blocked intersections and driveways, still a concern. Degradation of roads, still a concern. The Corolla Wild Horse Fund conducted a survey a few years ago, and one of the questions they asked, and this was dealing with human and horse interaction, anything else that we should know? There were 97 total answers. 26 of those answers dealt with the horse tours. 25 negative, 1 positive. So this is not a problem that these people are uniquely experiencing. It is experienced from the entire 4x4 community. Under the ordinances that you have in place, things that you can do, and we certainly ask that you consider, is you can limit the number of operators, you can limit the number of vehicles that each operator has, you can establish approved routes. Those routes can be set by calendar, whatever. And finally, one of the issues that was mentioned was trying to keep the tours off of the roads when there are problems with water-filled holes. And this is a comment from Mr. White back in October of 2010 when he was on the Wild Horse Tour Advisory Group, where he indicated he does not allow his vehicles behind the dunes when there is standing water in the roads. He's an operator. He's a member of this board, I believe, And that would certainly be an indication that that's a reasonable restriction. If there's water standing on the roads, the tourists should not be allowed on those roads, again, to allow the repairs to be made. So we really appreciate your consideration of these concerns. More than happy to work with the board to try to find balanced solutions that can satisfy the concerns that both sides have. And any other information we can provide to the board, we're happy to gather that and present it to you.
Thank you. That's the last person I had signed up. Was there anybody that showed up that did not have a chance to sign up that would like to speak at the public comment? If there are, I'm sorry.
No,
If there are, please come forward.
Thank
Thank you. Seeing nobody else, I'm going to go close public comment, but I just would like to say to the people that showed up real quick, and I'll let you jump in, is that we do have a work session retreat at the first of the year, and this is a topic. There's a lot of topics in the Crawl Outer Banks that we're going to be discussing in our work session. That's about a 3-day work session that we will have, and this is a topic that will be discussed at our work session. It's usually at the first of the year, and that would be prior to the season starting. So I just wanted to say that, yes, you've been heard, and it is going to be a topic for discussion in our work session. Yes, Mr. Well.
The other thing I wanted to bring out, because I saw it in a couple of emails, and at least my recollection is the number of companies that are allowed to conduct tours is limited and can only go down. In other words, we're not adding any additional companies.
That's correct. There are only 10 licenses that may be issued, and there are, I think, less than 10 active licenses at this point.
Correct.
6, I believe.
It was reduced when we
Yes.
wrote the new ordinance.
Right.
And each license only carries, is it 5 vehicles?
5.
Yes. Maximum of 5.
Maximum
Not all
of
of them
5.
have 5.
So folks that are concerned about adding other operators or increasing the number of vehicles per license, that's not occurred. And I can tell you that this board is not interested in increasing those numbers any.
And I'd like
Now,
to.
we certainly still need to talk about the issues going on,
And we
but I
will.
just want to make sure that there was some confusion with that we're not adding licenses and we're not adding businesses.
I'd like to address one other topic, too, where they talked about the traffic violations. As far as the horse tours, I do know if they receive a certain amount of violations, they can be suspended as well. And I know, I'm not picking on that business, and I know this because I'm a lieutenant at the sheriff's office. We wrote way more tickets this year than last year. As far as violations, we wrote a ton of the horse, being too close to the horse. I actually wrote one of those myself. So we wrote a bunch of those. As far as the 50-foot, I think I worked 21 times I was in Corolla. So now on the beach, maybe 7 this summer, 7 or 8. But I do know, the numbers on that are, I would say close to maybe 20% more than last year. Don't hold me to that, but I know it's more than 15. So, so just to address some of those issues, like you said, and like the chairman said too, we, some of that stuff we can discuss, and feel free to email us some input of something for us at our work session when we have our retreat.
All right, thank you.
I think it would be good to let them know that the retreat is open to the public, so you have the opportunity to come listen to the discussion.
Yes, and it's a work session, so it's not open for public comment, but you're more than welcome to come in and sit, and it'll be posted when we have it with the times. So, but that's the first.
You used to always be in Corralda, but not.
Well, we'll see. But the time, location will be sent out. Everybody will know that at the first of the year. Okay, next is our commissioner's report, and I'm going to start off to my right this evening and start with Commissioner Owen Etheridge.
Y'all don't have to leave.
Come on, stay
Let's hold. Okay, we'll hold off for a minute. Let you
stay to bedtime.
So, thank you for taking the trip around. So,
And then the other one left was Renee. And Jay.
okay,
Real quick,
okay, yes, sir.
it is harvest season. Combines and big trucks are on the road. It'll be that way probably for another month and a half, so just be careful. That along with school buses. Pay attention, folks. And I got to tell you, the biggest waste of money I see that NCDOT has, speed limit signs, because nobody pays attention to them.
I'll agree with them.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Etheridge. Commissioner McCord.
I had a meeting this week with our Director of Social Services, Samantha Hurd. The state, they're just on a roll with some of their great government leadership. They're doing a lot of cutbacks, and they're going to try, I'm sure the county manager / attorney is familiar. They're doing a bunch of cutbacks, and they're going to want local governments to do even more with some mental health stuff, not that we don't already do enough, but in closing, getting rid of about $8 million of funding on some different halfway houses where there's some stuff, and they're trying to dump that on the counties. But like I said, we had a meeting about that, and I think I have a meeting coming up with Trillium next month, I believe, in October. So that's something coming. The condolences again to the family of the 11-year-old girl that was hit on 158 a few weeks ago. They had a memorial Sunday at the school, at the middle school for the family. It was roughly 50 people in attendance. The news was there and so forth. That being said, the school zones, like I said, the Sheriff's Department as well as Highway Patrol assists some. We only have 2 troopers in Currituck County right now, 2. So that puts a big load on the Sheriff's Department. As far as the school zones, which, we always work them since that accident, we've pretty much doubled the manpower out there of different units. I work in the office. I think I got 22 tickets after today of citations issued. We've issued, believe it or not, like Commissioner Etheridge said, over 200 violations in 13 days. 200 people. There's flashing lights, there's signs, and I have a grant that we got through the school safety grant that we changed, and we have some permanent signs due to COVID. They were supposed to be here at the end of August, but they're going to come, I believe, next week, the 29th and the 30th, they'll be here. So they're the permanent flash and radar signs, so we'll have even more signage. But like I said, it was a grant. It cost the county nothing. So if somebody sees them and says, "Oh, how much money did the county spend on that?" We spent nothing. My time to do the grant. But that's it on that. The beaches. This weekend it was a tiny bit slower. Not much. So the traffic's still there. And I looked at my calendar. I'm pretty sure we're beyond Labor Day. But like I said, the beaches are still pretty full. So be careful when you're out and about traveling. Saturday's Aviation Day at our airport. I helped William set up signs today for it. But like I said, that's Saturday 10 to 4. William Nelson, a.k.a. Willie Nelson, he does a great job at the airport. The airport has never made any money in Currituck County until that guy was hired, and he does a really good job. So if you can go out Saturday, they have all kinds of fun festivities. And then on October 3rd, and the reason why I'm bringing this one up in Mayock at the fire department, is they have a community day / vendor day. I think they have 50 vendors set up. The sheriff's department, the fire department, they put that on. There's all kinds of stuff, bounce houses, food and everything. I'm not cooking out for that, so don't. But like I said, so October 3rd, because we won't have another meeting until then. We have one the next night. But October 3rd is a community day at Mayock Fire Department. Bring your kids. The Identi-Kid, where they make the little cards with your kid fingerprints, we'll be doing that, and all kinds of other stuff. So I think that's it.
Thank you, Commissioner McCord. Vice Chairman Beaumont.
Okay, to tag team on the Aviation Day, if it rains on Saturday, the rain date is Sunday, the 26th of September. Again, that's from 10 to 10 to 4. Got a notification from the ARPO, and for those that aren't aware, ARPO is the regional organization that handles the county relative to all things traffic. Our meeting was canceled for this month, and the reason is there is no funding available for the road improvement suggestions, and therefore we need to debate which of them had higher priority, because based on funding, they all ranked 0. So specifically, that was addressing the turn lane on Tulloch Creek. So that's gone for another year from consideration, and dividing 158 and 1. normal dividing of the highway, which would make it a little bit safer. Did you mention this on the 2nd of October was the Farm Festival?
No.
No, such it.
All right, so everybody mark your calendars. The Currituck Farm Festival will be held October 2nd at the Cooperative Extension in Barco. That will go from 1 and 4. They're promising a fun time for all. So I'm sure Kevin will be entertained. And then finally, Mr. Chairman, I need to go see my mother, so I do not plan to be. I plan to be out of town for our next meeting. That week, first week in October, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Beaumont. I'll just state, I should have mentioned this earlier, and I apologize, that Commissioner, and he stated it, Commissioner White is on vacation, is not here tonight. He's on vacation, but he did make that announcement at the last meeting, so I just wanted to reiterate that in case some people were wondering where Commissioner White was at. Other than that, the topics that we're going to discuss were hit on, so I'm going to end it here and pass it on to Commissioner Etheridge.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On Wednesday, I will be attending the fall retreat for the risk management team for our association, and I would like to extend an invitation for them to come to Currituck County next fall for their retreat, if that would be agreeable with the rest of the board.
I don't see any problem with that. Great. Go ahead and send the invitation out.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right, thank you. And then last, Commissioner Jarvis.
Well, I was going to mention Aviation Day. One thing that I will say about Aviation Day, there are plans to take those 15 and younger up in airplane to see the county. I know we got the opportunity to do that last year, and it was very interesting and very exciting to see the county from the air. So I would encourage people to bring their children so they can take advantage of that. And the Farm Festival, as Owen mentioned, it is a tribute to our heritage. We are thankful for our farmers and for all you do, Owen, and all the farmers like you. So thank you.
Mr. Chairman, can I add one thing?
Yes.
I'm the one that mentioned it.
Yeah, it
was
was
Selena, but
not that. I wasn't going to add that.
But he's the farmer.
But she's thanking the farmer.
Right. Thank you.
Yes.
Thursday evening, which is it's kind of a big deal. Myself, the county attorney / manager, Chairman Payment, Commissioner Etheridge and his spouse, and Sheriff Matt Bikert, my other boss. We're attending. Ray Matusko's getting sworn in on that evening in Carteret County. I don't have the flyer with me. It's at my house. But as the president of the 100 clerks for our state of North Carolina, he will be, and that's the first time ever that we've had the president. And what was it last meeting where somebody said, I guess Mary Beth's the president for emergency management. We didn't know that, but this will be the first time, and we're attending that Thursday night.
Yeah, I'd like to just touch on something about that. I was with Justice Newby, Chief Justice Newby, on Saturday, and I told him that several of the commissioners from Currituck were going to see our clerk of court sworn in as state president. He said, that is fantastic. He said, that's not something that's being done very often, that you would give that type of support to your clerk of court.
Well, he's been doing a fine job for us there and well-deserved, so I look forward to honoring him down there, representing this board in the county there. So.
And tomorrow night at 7 o'clock in courtroom A, Representative Hannig will be there and give us a legislative update if anybody would like to attend.
And I'll be there at 6:30 to open the doors.
Okay, thank you, everyone. The next item is our county manager, county attorney report.
This Wednesday morning in Edenton, the regional county managers will be coming together to discuss the funding of retiree health care for former employees of Albemarle Mental Health. As you may remember, when Albemarle Mental Health dissolved, the counties agreed, the former members of Albemarle Mental Health agreed to fund the ongoing liability for health care for certain retired employees of that agency, as had been promised them when they first became employees of Albemarle Mental Health. An actuarial study has now been conducted, and it appears that the counties are going to need to provide additional funding to continue to fund that commitment. So I'll know Wednesday and report back to you what Currituck County's share might be of that funding. Secondly, as you may have seen reported last week, in 2018, assistant to the county manager, Rebecca Gay, when she was the assistant to the emergency management department, wrote a grant for Hurricane Florence funds to help raise certain houses that were repeated flooding properties. We were awarded last week by the state of North Carolina and the Federal Emergency Management Agency $1,040,864 in a hazard mitigation grant that will allow for the raising of 7 houses spread throughout the county. There's actually one in Corolla, Grandy, Barco, Moyock, and here in Currituck. There will be no cost to the homeowners. There will be no cost to the county. And even better, the state will be actually managing and supervising the project. We did a similar project several years ago, and our staff had to manage it. But the money's coming to help those 7 property owners, and we're certainly pleased by that. That's all I have.
Okay.
Can I ask the question? With the mental health, are we obligated to continue to do that?
Yes, we've determined that by the agreement that was entered into back at the time they dissolved, that all the counties are obligated to continue to fund that health benefit for those retirees. There was a belief and hope at the time that there were sufficient monies left over within Albemarle Mental Health reserves, and also there was some additional money provided by the state of North Carolina to fund that health care liability, but it appears that that is not going to be sufficient to maintain the funds necessary to fulfill that obligation to those retirees.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question? When we did we inherit that building, or was that a county building when the Albemarle Mental Health, the building in Grandy, which was formerly
that was actually a county building that the county allowed for Albemarle Mental Health to utilize.
Did they pay? Did they pay rent or anything for it? Or was it just?
I don't recall whether they paid rent.
I think they did pay something. It wasn't much, but
They did.
They did.
I was on Albemarle Mental Health when it dissolved, and the state kind of assured us that there would be sufficient funding to take care of those needs. And that was one of the things that we had to do when it was dissolved and absorbed into, what was it, Down East or something like that?
I think it was absorbed first maybe with Tideland Mental Health Agency, and then that was absorbed by a larger geographical regional entity.
So, yeah, we were obligated. One of those unfunded mandates, Gary.
Any other questions for the county manager? If not, okay, I'm going to close the reports and go to the next item under new business. Under new business, item A, consideration of bid award recommendation for the historic jail stabilization project phase 1 and authorize county manager to execute contracts, I believe. Like McCree, go into that.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, at packet page 18, you will see the recommendation of the county's architect on the historic jail project. This phase 1 is stabilization of the structure. We received 3 bids. The low bidder was Midwest Maintenance Incorporated at $177,000 for the project. You see there is a significant difference between the low bidder and the other 2. We did question our architect closely about his comfort that this company had the ability to perform the project as within the bid scope. He assures us, as he has now set forth in his recommendation as an architect, that indeed they can, and he has worked with them in the past. So staff is recommending approval of the contract in the amount of $177,000 to Midwest Maintenance Incorporated.
Where are they located, do we know?
I don't know right offhand.
Because that $200,000 difference, that's a huge difference.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I do commercial mechanical stuff, and when you have that big a discrepancy, you question if something was missed or not. But I guess they double checked, and they have background in this type of work with a historical building. I take it correct.
Well, we questioned the architect about that, and the first thing that came to our minds is that on the staff level is there was such a difference within the bids that perhaps maybe they made an error. They certainly did not indicate to us that they made any error and did not seek within the time allowed by law to withdraw their bid. We even considered perhaps we needed to reject all bids and do it again because of this discrepancy. But the architect, again, as you see in his letter, and after his experience with them on other projects, has made a recommendation that they were the lowest responsible bidder.
And this was not on a grading. This was just strictly low bid, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, well. Do I have any other questions or a recommendation from the board?
I second it.
We have a motion from Selena Jarvis for approval, and second Commissioner Beaumont. Any further discussion on this? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Do we have a anticipated date that they will start?
No, the next step would now be to prepare the contracts, and so we'll know better exactly the start date and the expected completion date.
Before we get into the next item, I just want to ask the county manager, is our audio working properly for the attendees to be able to see what we're going through, or?
I will ask.
Hey, we just see, I mean.
It was working earlier.
It was.
I'll ask Deb if she's in the back and can hear us, whether she could give us a thumbs up if.
I just want to make sure that we are presenting.
Are we on the air?
Okay, because this has a commissioner meeting, but so
That's Kevin's fault.
oh, okay, I just want to make sure that the audience out there is being able to see.
I think staff needs to catch up with the slide.
Okay, okay.
The company's out of Ohio,
Gotcha, okay, all right.
Midwest.
All right, then the next item under new business, item B, board appointments. We have a tourism advisory board appointment, and I believe that is,
That's my
oh,
board.
and that's your appointment, Commissioner Etheridge?
Yes, sir. I'd like to place in the nomination Janice Farr as my appointment. I know Janice was on the Tourism Advisory Board back in the very beginning, and she was always a tremendous asset to that board and very helpful.
Okay, well, I'll second that. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor of the appointment? Aye. All opposed? Thank you. The next item is item C, the consent agenda.
Move for approval.
Second.
A motion second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion passes. Next is we're going to recess from our normal meeting and move into the special meeting of Tourism and Development Advisor, the authority. And with that, I believe we have county managers going to get into the budget amendments.
So the budget amendment for the Tourism Development Authority, that is to fund the jail stabilization project that you just approved the award bid.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion carries. And I'll ask for a motion to adjourn from the, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry.
You probably need to now go ahead and adopt a motion to approve the second budget amendment, which is just carrying over monies that were not expended in last fiscal year into the current fiscal year.
Oh, okay, I didn't see that second part, my apologies.
They also, it's increasing funding to the Wild Horse Fund for maintenance of the herd in the amount of $69,200.
Okay, I'll ask the board then for, I guess,
$69,200.
for the Wild Horse?
Move for approval.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, motion carries, thank you. Now I'll ask for adjournment of the TDA and move into the special meeting of Ocean Sands Water and Sewage District Board. Motion
Second.
and second, all in favor? Aye, all opposed, and I believe Mike McCree has this one as well.
Well, you'll now, they want to convene the Ocean Sands Water and Sewer Advisory, Water and Sewer Authority.
I thought I did that, but if I didn't, I thought I said that, we convene into the,
The budget amendment is just, again, to carry over funds that were encumbered in last year's budget for the current budget year.
Move for approval.
any further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? Okay, now I'll ask for an adjournment of the Ocean Sands Water, Sewage, and reconvene into, okay. Well, let me, just let me,
He'd already.
well, and reconvene into closed session session pursuant to GS 143-318.11A3 to consult with the county attorney and preserve the county attorney privilege. Now I'll ask for a motion. Okay. Second, okay. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, thank you. And we'll give a minute to make sure everything's clear.